Hi everyone, I'm Dan from Danesthetics at 3rd Avenue Spa. In my clinic, we only carry hyaluronic acid filler, and the reason why is because of this stuff, hyaluronidase. It protects myself and protects clients in the case of anything going wrong. So that is what our video is all about today. We're actually going to divide this video into two sections. We're going to have our first one, which is now, and that's going to be about corrections. What to do in order to correct a filler that's either displaced or overfilled in an area. The second video is going to be all about an emergency situation. Stay tuned for both. We're all going to learn a few things. There are two different types of hyaluronidase. There are Vitrase and Hyaluronic. Vitrase is ovine or sheep-based, and Hyaluronic is human recombinant. Because it's sheep-based, even though it's purified, there's a slightly higher risk with side effects, but both of them are extremely rare. It's about 1 in 1,000 chance that someone's going to develop some type of risk with it. So let me show you how to perform a patch test. This vial is 150 units per mil of hyaluronidase. So the patch test requires 20 units. So how are you going to get 20 units into here if it's 150 units per mil? Quickly, it is 0.1333 units. So what I do is I drop 14 units on this BCD syringe and I'm good to go. Then what you'll do is you'll take that and you will inject it into the forearm intradermally. If they end up having no reaction, you're okay to proceed. You do have to wait 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, if they have a little bit of redness, then they could potentially have a little intolerance, but it's actually safe to proceed. You just have to have that conversation with the patient. And then finally, if they develop a wheal or surrounding redness with a wheal or swelling, then that's a no-go, they can't proceed. A super infection. So if someone has a nodule that's infected, red, pussy, warm, do not put hyaluronidase to that area to try and fix it. It'll actually make it worse. It's just going to spread that infection. So that's a no. The next one is going to be pregnancy or breastfeeding. There's no studies to support it, so we do need to wait afterwards. The other one is going to be Botox. If someone's injected Botox that day, wait a few days after giving the hyaluronidase. Otherwise, you're just going to spread the Botox and it's going to diffuse to areas that you don't want. It's going to make them look funny for a few months. And then finally, it's atopic dermatitis. So if someone has atopic dermatitis as their past medical history, don't use it. It tends to flare up and they tend to end up having pretty bad reactions with the hyaluronidase. Now, the side effects associated are temporary burning. The burning usually lasts a few minutes, but it can be pretty intense for certain people. Honestly, it's not too bad for the majority of the population. The other side effect is swelling. Swelling tends to happen immediately after you inject the filler and can last anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. And then finally, it can degrade your own body's hyaluronic acid, but it's temporary and it really depends on how much you're using. If you're using a minute amount, it's probably not going to change anything. And if it did, it's going to come back within a few days. But if you're flooding the area, then at that point, it can take up to a few weeks, even a month, in order to restore your natural hyaluronic acid again. Now, the magic question is, how much product do you use? Well, that varies on location, the type of product, and how much of the product was used. Let's talk about tear troughs. Tear troughs usually use the thinnest product possible, and they only use a minute amount. So you probably only need to use a very minimal amount. So if there's some puffiness here, what I recommend is starting off with basically 7.5 units of hyaluronidase, which ends up becoming 0.05 units on your BD syringe here. So take that and you just inject this much, 0.0, so it's like 5 units here, and you just inject directly into the area of concern and you massage it, and then you wait a few days, and if they need more, wait 2 to 3 days and do it again. Now let's talk about lips. If someone comes in to have their lips dissolved, it's probably going to require a little bit more than 7.5 units. They typically use 1 full syringe for both upper and lower, and they usually use a medium cohesivity, so it's going to be something thicker than the product here. The guidelines state that you can use anywhere from 20 to 70 units if you want, but that can even vary based on the thickness and the product used. So what I tend to do is I divide this quadrant into 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and in each quadrant I put 15 units. The product or the needle that you can want to use is really up to you. If you want to use something that's going to cause less bruising, a cannula is probably a great technique to use, but you can really use anything you want. So here's my quick 5-step approach to fixing hyaluronic acid issues with hyaluronidase. 1. Review side effects and risks with your client. 2. Do a patch test. 3. Palpate and draw the bulge. 4. Inject the necessary units required for the area and massage. 5. Have them follow up with you in 2 to 3 days and repeat if necessary. Thanks for joining me for part 1 of this Hyaluronidase series. Next up, we are doing the emergency care situation. That one's going to be incredibly interesting. Stay tuned. Until then, take care of yourselves, exercise daily, and please be nice to absolutely everyone. Until then.